Hello and welcome to Cherry Street Chat, the official podcast of the Seattle Spectator. My name is Caleb Stipkovits and I'm your host, and today we are here with some members of RHA. So here we are with Anabella, Vucci, and Gabby Prado, who are the president and director of programming at RHA, and they are here to talk to us about lots of things, lots of events, but specifically the Spring Carnival, which is coming up this Saturday. So Anabella and Gabby, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. Well, once again, thanks a lot for coming on. First, can you just tell me a little bit about yourselves?
Yeah, I can start. My name is Anabella, of course. I am the president of the Residence Hall Association. I've been in RHA for 4 years, which makes me feel old. I am a public affairs and a women and gender studies major, and RHA is really so much of what I do. Yeah. And I'm Gabby. I'm the director of programming this year. I am a criminal justice and political science double major. I am a member of the honors SBC track, shout out. And yeah, I agree. RHA is a huge part of my commitment on campus, and I love it.
Yeah, super cool. I'm a SPC alum, so
Shout out.
yeah, let's go. Shout out SPC. Super cool. Well, thanks for sharing a little bit about yourselves. I guess I want to know first, like, how did you all get into RHA? Like, what led you to join it, and what led you to stay?
Yeah, okay, I'll start this time. I was a member of ASB in high school. So when I came to college, I was looking for that close community of people to kind of run events on a campus. And I joined the ZAVE RHA Hall Council my freshman year. And I loved it. It felt just like being in a small little cohort of people planning events for other people to make community within the building. And that's kind of drew me to EC eventually, because I knew I wanted to do it on a larger level and to reach more people. I forget how similar our stories are. I'm gonna repeat what Gabby said. I did ASB in high school. And when I got to campus, I was like, we're both from out of state, and I was like, new city, new school. I was freaking out, and I was seriously contemplating dropping out. I think up until October. And my brother had went to Seattle U, and so of course I was like, I'm not going to go to Seattle U. Here I am. And he did RHA, and so I was like, of course I'm not going to do RHA. But I was like desperately in need of community.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'll apply. And at the time, we do our elections differently now. I had to run for campaign for hall council, which is crazy. And I did, and I was the programming chair on Campion Hall Council. Shout out. And I was then the director of programming, and I've been president for 2 years.
Cool. Super cool. And backtracking, what was the organization called that you both were in high school?
It's ASB.
Okay, what does that sound?
Student Body.
Okay.
It's like a leadership class. It's like a mix between
okay.
student government and leadership, but I don't know if this is true for yours. Ours had an emphasis on programming.
Yeah, us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just liked having a whole class period to do it.
Yeah,
That was my favorite part.
for sure. Yeah. And Anabella, kind of what you said about, wanting to find community. That's something that I've noticed. Like, we've had a lot of different clubs, people from clubs on here, and that's something that they've said is like, being able to join specific clubs has been one of the reasons that they wanted to stay at SU.
Yeah.
So obviously super important. Make sure you're joining your clubs to
Join
all
a club.
our viewers
Join
and
RJ.
listeners. Yeah, not to plug already, but But yeah, I guess next thing I want to know about is just, obviously RHA, they put on lots of events. They're really active. What are some of the things that RHA does?
Yeah, so RHA does a lot of work in hall councils and in executive council, obviously, but a lot of our events take place within residence halls and residence hall areas / Murphy Lounge if you're in South Campus. But I generally sort of emphasize that they're all just community building events. They're events to get you to hang out in the lobby of your residence hall or a shared space and meet people who live around you to kind of build that sense of community and feel like you have neighbors who are also your friends. And I think our job as EC is to extend that community, but campus-wide, to kind of widen the scope of the people that you're talking to.
Totally. I would say our events are our forward facing, part of our organization. We also do advocacy and legislation, and we have an emphasis on sustainability in all of our programs. So we kind of try and do a little bit of everything, not only so that we're meeting the needs of all of our students, but also so there's always something
that's interesting to a student. Like, we're a really good organization. If you're interested in finance, if you're interested in programming, if you're interested in marketing, one of the things that we like really emphasize is that we have something for everyone. And the more diverse students we have in our org, the better that we serve our students. And so we really have a pretty expansive scope of what we do.
Yeah, for sure. And can you tell me a little bit about some of the events that you've been putting on this year? Like, what have been some of your favorites so far?
Miss Director of Programming?
Okay. Early on, I was a very big fan. We held a voting pin event where you got to register to vote and make cute little pins to like I voted pins. I loved that because I love that we have the emphasis on reaching all of our student body and understanding that everybody has different backgrounds and experiences and different knowledge going into things, especially a lot of people living alone for the first time, away from their families and people that they trust. So I think having a space like that to kind of get people to understand their voting rights and to understand how to navigate that pretty complex system as first-time voters most likely here. I loved it. It linked my personal passions and RHA together, which I really appreciated. And on the other hand, I think another big one that I love, that I think we'll talk about later, is Dancing with RHA.
Yeah.
I love an event that's just fun and a space to just kind of enjoy yourself and hang out with people. So I think we reach the whole spectrum of what fun means, education and just chilling.
Yeah, for sure. I think you both bring up like a really good point of like, obviously like you want to have kind of like a wide net of different events, and you want to make sure that you're catering to all the students at SU. And so that's really cool to hear like just the different things, like the pin making one. I know a lot of people that went and they said they really enjoyed it. So, it seems like there's like that mutual interest between students and you all. But you mentioned Dancing with RHA, and that is one thing I wanted to ask you both about because this is a new event this year. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Do you want to start?
I can. Dancing with RHA was our newest, hopefully, legacy event. We, and similar to what you were saying, we try and run a variety of scale events every quarter. So we try and run a small, medium, and large scale. And so for our large scale event, we decided to take a chance and do something new, which was really exciting. Gabby is a reality TV show aficionado. She loves it. I'm a first time watcher of Dancing with RHA, or Dancing with the Stars, which is now Dancing with RHA. And we really wanted to be able to do an event that was student focused and student involved. Our Spring Carnival, which I'm sure we'll also talk about, is a really fantastic event, but one of the things that makes it so awesome is that we work with other clubs and orgs, and that community building, that style of it too, and working with orgs and not just students is really important to us. So we were kind of trying to conceptualize like how we could do a little bit of both and also have like an event that you can dress up to and like go with your friends, and so to balance like our job as RHA and then also like the things that we think are really fun. And so I think it was my favorite event we put on this year. It was really just so fun, and I'm kind of an event nerd, and so like being there all day, like I was up and at 'em at like 7. I was ready to go, and I just like loved it, and it was such a good opportunity to get to know other people on campus. And I feel like even all of our dancers and contestants, like I'll always see and say hi, and so it was just like a really it was fun, but it was also like the competition element was fun. We'd Rudy Red Hawk as a judge, which was crazy. Loved having Rudy
as a judge. Whoa.
As a judge. He gave a Hawks up. It was great. But yeah, and our students are also wildly creative, and there aren't a lot of outlets. There are more now than there were, but for student dancers. Rhythmics is great. Shout out Rhythmics. Also shout out Seattle Line Dancing. But we kind of wanted to also give like students a space to be creative in that way as well.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think a big part of planning it was being able to put students who are both well versed in dance and also not newbies to the dance scene together, just because I think it also is just very encouraging to see, I think, to understand that like you're never too old to start something new, and that you can try something if you've been wanting to. And I think that that's what I saw a lot in our star dancers. And I think too, an interesting aspect of it was, I think we acknowledged that sometimes events where you have to put yourself out there and socialize to like an extreme can be tough for some people. So I think having an event that was a little more laid back, calmer, you didn't have to be socializing the entire time, but you could still be around people and interact with people around you. I think that was another big aspect for me to, again, be so inclusive of the diverse people that we have on campus.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really like hearing both of your perspectives on that. Super cool. Rudy, the Red Hawk, like giving an opinion or saying anything. I don't know if that's ever been done before. If you try to talk to him, he won't say anything. So
we
that's
gave him
pretty
number
cool.
cards.
Number cards.
We gave
Okay.
him number
So
cards.
that's about as much as we're gonna get out of Rudy, it seems. But
He has a lot of personality.
yeah,
I have to say.
He's born for the stage.
he's born for the stage. Maybe next year he'll be dancing.
Yeah.
Is that what
Rudy,
we're seeing?
Let us know.
Awesome. Well, obviously this Saturday, super big event coming up. It's Spring Carnival. I've gone to it in the past. It's super fun. But what can people expect from this year's edition?
Bigger and better as ever. We have an incredible lineup of prizes. Not to, make it all about the prizes, but we have Kendrick Lamar tickets and a Dyson Airwrap and a vacuum. I'm a big fan of the vacuum personally. I don't know.
What kind of vacuum is it? I feel like that's
A
That is the
nice
question.
one.
a nice one.
A nice one with incredible reviews.
Incredible reviews.
Yes.
Okay.
We have rain floor. Is it floor?
I think they're called pitch side seats,
side seats.
which may or may not have free food and drink. We're not sure, but it's possible.
Everything is possible at Spring Carnival.
We also have this year, we haven't ever really done a theme before, but this year we kind of leaned into Western a little bit. We got RHA blue cowboy hats, of course, so you can point us out in a crowd.
Okay.
But Spring Carnival is really fun. It was the first major event that I did when I was a sophomore, when I was literally your age. And at the time, we only had one major legacy event. And even though, it was it's a really tough deal to get an event off the ground for the first time because you just have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I was also just had no idea what I was doing, but I really wanted to make something that was new and different, but also met the needs of the community that we were in. And so our first one was 2 years ago, and now this will be our third. We've always had wonderful weather, knock on wood, for being in May. But it's just it's a good time, and it's enough interaction where you feel like you're connecting with people, but you can also come, and we have a bunch of food. You should tell them about the food.
Food. We have snow cones and cotton candy machine and popcorn and churros and water.
10 gallons.
10 gallons.
Come drink it.
Just for you. Come to Spring Carnival to get water. But it's just a really fun event. I feel like it's such a simple way to say it, but it's kind of the embodiment of joy and being outside and hanging out with people. And some of the booths have fun prizes as well as the overall prizes, and it's just set up to be a really good time.
Yeah, there's food, there's games, there's prizes. Are there any new games this year? Or is it kind of the same?
We have a lot of new games this year. We have our first hacky sack tic-tac-toe. We have poor Gabby. This is all coming from my brain because I did it last year as well. We have slime making. There's a big slime making revival in RHA this year. People are doing, what else is new? We have a lot of
face
crafts.
painter.
We have face paint, but we've had face paint in the past.
Really?
Yeah. But to know the rest of the games, you should come check them out.
Yeah, and for people who do want to come and check out Spring Carnival, can we get some logistical details? So time, place, those type of things.
Yes. It's in the quad from 12 p.m. to 3. Come for as long as you want. You have to stay the whole time. You should stay the whole time, though, because it's going to be so much fun. And it's all free. Everything is free based on a punch card system. So come, bring all your friends for fun, free food, games in the quad.
And
May 10th.
everything we do in RHA is free. So if that's a plug for anyone who wants to attend any of our events, everything we do is free. We will never charge you for anything ever.
Cool. Yeah. free events. Who doesn't like free food, free
That's what
prizes
I'm
potentially? I mean,
saying.
that sounds pretty good to me. And then my last question is, are there any other events that are coming up for RHA for the rest of the year that you want to plug?
We're having a bingo in the end of May.
Mhm.
More information will come out about that once we get that rolling a little bit more, but it'll be beach themed to kick off the summer. We'll also have great prizes, TBD.
Look at if you go to our Instagram and DM us prizes that you want, we will seriously consider
put them
them. RHA Seattle U. But I think we were thinking hammock. We were thinking there's some other outdoor stuff. But that will be our EC last event of the year, and then hall councils are essentially groups of students who run each residence hall, the RHA for each residence hall, and they also will have some events coming up. So,
Okay.
hate to say it, but our Instagram is a really great way to keep up with what we're doing, and we make some pretty good TikToks, if I do say so myself.
so.
Except don't watch the most recent one of me. That was really, that was Chloe and I. That was not a wrestler. Chloe's our director of marketing, and let's just say we do it for the craft. We're highly, highly committed to RJ.
Okay. Yeah, well, make sure to go check out that Instagram if you want to know more events coming up. So, yeah, thank you. All right, so for our next part of Cherry Street Chat today, we are going to be tier listing the different residence halls and campus apartments that are available to Seattle U students. So, obviously we've all lived in the dorms. Or maybe not all of us, but some of us have lived in apartments. So we're just gonna see like what are our favorites. What do we think is S tier? What do we think is all the way down in D? So let's pick one to go first. Let's do residence halls first.
Okay.
I feel like let's go with Bellarmine.
Can we talk about like our reasons why?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so Bellarmine has the nicest bathrooms on campus. If we're being so for real.
Yeah.
It's a little. I feel like it's a little removed from the action. I guess it is middle of campus, but it's tree hidden.
It's so beautiful outside of it, though.
It is really, and they do have the roof, which I don't know if people use, but there's like
I was
a
gonna
barbecue
say
up there.
I don't know anybody who's used the roof before. Actually, no, I know like an Ari's done an event there before, but like I feel like people don't use it enough at least.
And it has a great lobby.
Incredible.
We
lobby.
spend too much time in the residence hall, by the way. We know a little too much.
So you're
about
the experts. What are we thinking for a grade here?
I want to say, well, you're the Bell Hall Council liaison, so you're biased.
I'm
so
biased.
You go
Would
first.
go S, but I can be moderate. I feel like Bell deserves an A. At
I feel like
least.
Bell deserves an A.
Honestly, I would agree with that. Like I never lived in Bell, but I knew a lot of people that did, and it is like one of the their bathrooms are super nice.
And they're
I mean,
huge.
and they have
It's
like
really,
5-6 showers in there,
I
and like
know.
Campion had like 2.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yes, those bathrooms are gorgeous.
and you had to share a drain. So we'll get into camp later. I'm comfortable putting an A as well if you are.
Okay,
Let's
perfect.
see. Ooh, I have to like figure out which icon it is. I'm pretty sure this one's Bell. So yeah, they're all really small on the screen. Okay, next let's go to camp then. Since we speak of the devil.
Okay, I love camp. Listen. I lived in. I almost said I grew up in camp. I lived in camp. I was on Camp's Hall Council, and then I was a liaison for Camp's Hall Council, and that is where the RJ room is.
True.
Basement.
I have to.
Okay, camp has the
stand.
cave.
That might give it
12th
S.
floor.
The study rooms are beautiful in camp.
Now, I will say small bathrooms. I will admit that.
Bathrooms.
But you have a what is it called? A kitchen on every floor. That's really nice.
Lots of floors. The elevator takes for.
Correct. I
Yeah.
only ever lived on the 3rd floor. So my life was easy.
I will say that like for me, I think camp. There are so many great like as the cave. Spectator is also in.
Spectator's in the
Spectator's also
basement.
in the basement. So
Neighbors.
spend some time in the basement. But the things that like for me living there is yes, the elevators break all the time. The elevator lines, even when they're not broken, are super long. So it takes you a while to get all the way up. And then it's
Fair.
also the bathrooms are just so bad. Like
I will say, not to fight for camp, but waiting in line and getting to talk to your friends and
True.
being in the lobby has lovely desk assistants. Everywhere has lovely desk assistants. Unfortunately, I will have to give camp an A.
Really? Okay.
I will.
I think the cave gives it enough credibility, to be honest.
The cave, that's what I'm saying.
Didn't even really process that.
And I lived on the side of camp where you could see into the apartments that are next door.
Oh,
the people
yeah.
watching went crazy. Okay? It's getting an A from us. It's getting an A from RHA.
Okay. I'll since you are the experts, I'll have it happen. I don't
I'll
know if I
allow
put
it.
it in A just because like I definitely have some. It's really just the
It's not a
bathrooms
word
for me,
it's not
honestly.
an
There's
S.
there's like nothing wrong with it except for the bathrooms. Like the elevators are fine, but yeah. But I'll put it there because you're the experts and
Yeah.
and you know what you're talking about. I feel like you're selling it for me. All right, our last one, and we'll speed up a little bit because
Okay.
I know we spent a lot of time on these two. Probably are like some of the bigger ones. But what do we think about Save?
Ooh, okay. I never lived in Save.
And how is that? Where would you put it?
Zave is a very close-knit community. It is, everybody. Everybody knows everyone. It's fun. The basement's fun. The
I will
basement's
say the basement.
huge. You've got so many study rooms down there. And a pool table. Is the pool table still there?
Yeah. They have a lot of like different stuff. But we're gonna go quicker. I'm gonna give it a B solely because I think it's too out of the way, and the distance to
Yes.
the cave and the
Very
dining
rough.
hall
Mm.
is
Yeah.
tough.
Mm-hmm.
I
That
agree
is
with
tough
you.
for your first year, especially. I feel like.
But it's
Yes.
highly secure. There's guard scanners
Yeah.
everywhere, and it's a smaller building, so elevator wait times are not bad, and the stairs are usable.
The stairs
so
so easy.
Okay.
it has its good qualities too.
I'm comfortable with the B.
Let's put it in B. I never lived in Zave, so I don't even know. I don't have much of a ranking. Well, let's stick in the area of, would that be North Campus?
Mhm.
Let's do Vi. What about Vi?
Vi's elusive to me. It's nice.
It's nice.
It is nice, but I feel like I'm never there.
Mm,
And do they not have ovens? Do they not have stoves?
No.
They don't
No.
have ovens.
They have one oven upstairs on the
Do you live
top
in
floor.
Vi?
I don't, but
Oh.
I've cooked in the oven there because I
You're
was
like,
like we were like there's no oven in the room. I also think it looks a little like unfinished to an extent. Like I feel like maybe it's like the modern aesthetic, but maybe I'm just not up with like modern aesthetic like that because it just looks like there's something missing.
I do like the access to the student store,
Mm,
Yes.
but it doesn't. It's nice. It houses people. It does its job.
yeah.
It's clean.
It's very clean.
But I just don't have an emotional attachment to it.
Mm,
So I would
I'm
put it in a
biased.
C.
Yeah, I agree.
There's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't speak. It doesn't call to me.
My
Okay.
closet is small.
yeah. We'll put it in C.
You don't live in Vi.
I toured my room.
Oh.
The one
Oh.
I'm living in. My closet is small.
All right. I'm trying to think of. Let's see. Let's go Murphy's.
I love the Murphys.
I love the Murphys.
I was gonna say I like the Murphys. Should we just put in an S? Like no.
Yes.
Murphy's going S.
All right.
I will say
Nothing to say.
Fire. What are they called? The
Oh,
smoke
the
sensors?
alarms. Yeah.
They're
very
right
sensitive.
above the oven.
Yeah, that's
and
tough.
Yes.
not good planning.
Yeah.
Not good planning.
Mm-mm.
However, they have a mystical, magical quality that I like.
I agree.
Hate that the garbage is on the outside.
Downside
Mm,
also walking to laundry.
That
the
is
downside.
true.
Mm,
However, special place in my heart.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love the Murphys.
for sure. All right, and then let's do Douglas.
So I live in Douglas. I will say.
Is it worth the price? Is what I'm.
Um,
That's the only thing I've heard people be like, I don't know about it, because it
I'll
seems nice.
say that the lounge is really nice. We've had a meeting or two in there. And it's really nice to be in an apartment, but also be on campus. And it feels more like an apartment than my Murphy did. But that being said, I was in a 3-occupant, 1-bedroom, which is very
Mm.
different than like the
Right.
quads. I would say that I love my apartment, and so I have an affinity for the Dougies, but they're also just, they exist.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of the same as it's doing the job of Vi, except I think that they have nicer kitchens than Vi, so I would
Mm.
say it's a B.
Okay,
And
agree.
they have ping pong outside, which I'm obsessed with.
that's cool. outside
So-
ping pong sounds. I've always like, I don't know if like you've seen people play ping pong outside, but it just looks like I feel like the really good like older players are always there. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the super skilled people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely for the vibes. Let's put it at B. I'm trying to like. Oh, okay. Here we go. I'm looking at all the different photos and they're so small. It's like, all right. Let's go with Chardon. Never lived there, so.
No.
Has classrooms
yeah.
in it, which is then like
I
a
associate it with
school vibe
class,
from it.
Yeah.
I have I have used the ping pong tables there too. It's doing its job. It's really more of a dorm than people give it credit for.
Mm.
But like when you go from camp to Chardon and you have like a little bit more room, and now I think they have 2 fridges, which was an issue in the past. They might not.
I
Don't
respect.
quote me on that if you live in Chardon. I'm sorry if that's not true. I am convinced it's haunted.
Oh yeah.
I believe that.
So I'm gonna say I'm not opposed to haunting by any means, but I would say I'm gonna give it a C. I'm gonna give it a C for
Okay.
Chardon.
I can back that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I've also played at their ping pong tables, which are super fun, but I feel like I don't know. There's just not much else like it does
Yeah.
its job, I think is a good one.
It does.
Okay, and we have last one is the UB apartments. And we'll keep this round quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Quick rank.
Okay.
I've never been in one.
I've also never been
Yeah,
there.
they're really secure. I would say I'm gonna go B.
Okay.
B.
A B for the OBs.
Let's keep it a B.
Yeah, they're nice. They're individual. They're apartments. They're cute. That's all I want to say about that.
Cool. All right, well, that's our ranking. So for our final rankings, we had Murphy at top in S. And then in A tier, we had Camp and Bell. And then B tier, we had Zave. Sorry, I'm looking at the icons. We had Zave, Douglas, and UB. And then in C tier, we had Chardon and Hilbert. So let us know if you agree. I
Yeah.
mean, it's to all their own, I guess. So yeah, so that's going to do it for our episode today for Cherry Street Chat. Thanks so much for coming on, guys.
Thank
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. And thanks for listening or watching. Make sure that you're following us on, make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube. Make sure that you're following us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, anywhere where you get your podcast for more content like this. And then when we sign off, we always say, see you next time on Cherry Street. And that's how we end our podcast. So I'm going to count us down from 3.
Okay.
And we're going to say, see you next time on Cherry Street.
Okay.
All right. So 3, 2, 1. See you next time on Cherry Street.
Street.